The topic that Andrew and I chose for our project was gun control, and specifically increased background checks and restrictions on certain types of gun ownership. So, Andrew, how does this impact democracy in America today?
The biggest impact that it has is on the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment states that everybody has the right to bear arms if they are an American citizen, meaning everybody has the right to own a gun. Finn, what are some arguments for gun control?
One argument for gun control is that they could not have predicted the advancement of guns today. Back then, guns were single load, one bullet, and then it would fire one time before you had to reload. Nowadays, we have semi automatic and fully automatic guns that can fire tons of bullets in just a few seconds. And this is a very, very good argument for it. Is there any that are against?
The major argument is that taking away guns or restricting guns violates Second Amendment rights. Another argument is that people who own guns are generally non-violent. There is only a small portion of people who commit violent crimes with these guns. Finn, what's another argument for gun control?
When the Second Amendment was written, it was written to protect the U.S. and its citizens. So they stated that we could form a militia and we could use the militia to combat against if the government became tyrannical or undemocratic or started violating some of the human rights that we have, or if there were outside threats that came into the U.S. and began to threaten us as the people.
Yeah, guns could be used for that. Instead, nowadays, they're used as hobby things. They're not used in a militia or for protection. In fact, guns weren't even allowed in civilian households until the Supreme Court case District of Columbia versus Heller, in which, in a 5-4 Supreme Court ruling, guns were allowed in civilians' houses. Finn, what did you find interesting about gun control?
Something that was very interesting and surprising was that there were so many different beliefs on what gun control should entail. There are arguments for it, there are arguments against it. We only talked about a couple of these, but there are many more, and you can definitely research them and find them out. And this is really concerning because with all of these different viewpoints on it, we may never come to one consensus that all the people agree with and that guns and gun control should either be enforced or not.
Mm-hmm. Personally, our viewpoints, we are both on the left side of the political spectrum, Democratic, and we believe that gun control should be more enforced in America today. There are actually private sellings of guns. There are big gun conventions where you can go, and you don't need a permit to buy guns. You just need to have a private transaction with someone else, and you don't need to show them a permit. You are not required to show them enough valid background checks. It really is a dangerous occurrence if people were to ever use these guns for violence. Another problem is straw purchases. Straw purchases are gun purchases in which a person who can legally buy a gun, say a 25-year-old with a permit, buys a gun for someone who cannot yet purchase a gun, like an 18-year-old without a permit. Basically, the argument for gun control is that guns are scary today, they're killing machines, they are not used for protection, as was stated in the Second Amendment, and that is why guns should be controlled. However, Citizens America also believe that if guns are controlled and restricted, it violates their Second Amendment rights. Thank you.
Thank you.